Hi, my name is Zubair Muhammad. I'm a student here at Triton at the Culinary Department. I'm currently working towards my Associates in Culinary Arts, and today I'm going to be making a Pakistani variation of halva. So halva is a confectionery. It's present in Eastern Europe, Northern Africa, the Middle East. There's various different ways to make it. The version I'm going to be making today is very popular in Pakistan. So to get started, I'm just going to talk about the ingredients. So we have 3/4 of a cup of vegetable shortening. I have 4 whole cardamom pods. I recommend the whole pods versus the powder. I have 1 cup of sugar, 1 cup of semolina, 2 ounces of chopped almonds, a teaspoon of orange food coloring, an orange for zest, and over here I also have 2.5 cups of water. And this last ingredient is rose water. You could use orange extract if you can't find it. You can find this in the ethnic section of your local grocery store, but it has a very powerful aroma, so a little goes a long way. So to start my halva, I'm going to start off with syrup. Move this over here. So I'm going to get a saucepan going, and I'm going to make a simple syrup. So a simple syrup is water and sugar. It's usually equal parts, but for this dish, it's not supposed to be overtly sweet. So we have more water than sugar. So 1 cup of sugar to 2.5 cups of water. I also have my spatula here. So while that's heating up, I'm just going to stir to dissolve all my sugar. I have another saucepan here, and I'm going to bring that up to medium heat. All right, and like I said, I'm going to be using vegetable shortening. So while I do this, I'm going to talk about basically what halva is. So halva varies by region. In Eastern European countries, they usually toast sunflower seeds. In the Middle East, halva can be like sesame seeds tossed in a sugar syrup. It varies by location. In Pakistan, a semolina toasted base is very popular, but you can also have carrot halva, dried fruit halva, coconut halva. You can have various different kinds. So, and like I said, in the Middle East, sesame seed halva is very popular. So there's no wrong way of making halva. This is just the way I'm going to be making it. So I'm just melting my shortening right now. And once that gets melted, I'm going to toss this in. Now, I don't want my shortening to burn, because shortening, if you don't have shortening, you can use any other fat, but this is traditional. I'm keeping this on low, because if my fat melts, then if my fat burns, it's basically going to affect the taste of the semolina. The whole dish is, just basically going to taste burnt. So this is gently melting. Meanwhile, I have my syrup over here cooking. I'm going to turn up the heat on that just so both of these can get done at the same time. So I'm going to bring my syrup to a boil, and then I have my shortening slowly melting over here. I have orange food coloring and also some orange zest in there to complement the rose flavor. So I see my syrup is going. Again, I'm going to bring that to a boil. And now that my syrup is basically heating up and almost to a boiling point, I'm going to zest my orange, and I'm moving it as I zest because I want that dark orange outer part. I don't want the bitter light yellow part. And again, a little goes a long way. All right. I see that my shortening is all melted, so I'm going to add in my semolina. At this point, I can turn my heat on higher now that my fat is completely melted and it's not burning. So I'm going to toss in my semolina, and I don't want it to overtly clump up, so I'm just going to start stirring it. And the great thing is there's a lot of fat in here, so it's not like you're dry toasting your semolina. It's going to form kind of like a paste. If you could see it, it's basically making a paste. I'll hold some up. So it's not like you're burning your semolina or it's dry toasting. It's turning into a paste, and that's just because we had a lot of fat in there. So I'm going to gently toast that. This is also a really good time, now that my syrup is going, to add rose water. Now, I'm going to say this again, but a little goes a long way. This is kind of like the vanilla extract of Middle Eastern cooking, so you don't really need a lot. So I'm going to add in some of my rose water. I'm only going to add like a tablespoon's worth. And that's because I'm making a lot, but generally I would not put more than a teaspoon. But because this is a bigger batch, I'm going to add a tablespoon of this. It's usually just a splash, and it's very aromatic. You know, I wish you can smell it. You're going to smell it immediately. That's why you don't need to put a lot. It already smells like roses. And along with that, I'm going to add in my teaspoon of food coloring to get that nice orange color. Now, this would also be a great time to add in 4 whole cardamom pods. One common theme you're going to see is these are a lot of strong ingredients. This is really strong too, so only 4 will do the trick. Now is the part where we're going to transfer the hot syrup into the semolina. So it's normal if this bubbles up a lot because we're adding a hot syrup to a toasted flour basically. So this is going to bubble up. It's going to turn gelatinous, so we're just going to keep mixing it. So I'm going to turn off the heat, and at this point my syrup is already hot enough. Set this to the side. So again, bring your syrup to a boil, turn off the heat, and now we're going to put this in. And you're probably going to hear the splash too. That's normal. I'm going to add in all the syrup, and again, it's really aromatic. You can smell the roses and some of that orange. I'm just going to stir it up. Now, it's going to look really watery at first. That's normal because you're adding, like 2.5 cups of syrup to just 1 cup of toasted semolina. But as this cooks, the semolina, because it is gluten-based, it's going to absorb all of that syrup. So I'm just going to mix it. So to show you how it is, look how watery it is. That's normal. When we cover it, the semolina is going to absorb all that great rose water syrup. So just mixing that. I'm going to toss in my 2 ounces of chopped almonds. Give that a quick mix. And this next part is crucial so this doesn't burn. I'm going to turn this to low, and then I'm going to cover it. And this cooks really fast. It only needs 2 minutes. There's no wrong way of making halva. If you don't like almonds, well, I also have chopped walnuts. If you have chopped pecans sitting around, you can add pecans. If you have pistachio is a very traditional ingredient in a lot of Middle Eastern desserts. So pistachio will actually complement it really well. I would say that's the best substitute if you don't have almonds on hand. I just like almonds. We also traditionally put raisins in it. I decided to keep raisins on the side, but you could also use dried cranberries, and dried mixed fruit is also really good. So sultanas or dried oranges. Any dried fruit you got would be amazing. And then you could also have coconuts. So the nuts are basically a crunch factor. You want a crunch in there to basically contrast the gummy flavor. So you could use any one of these items. So I have my mound over here, and the great thing is because we added a lot of vegetable shortening to toast the semolina, it's not going to stick to this. You can easily just scoop it on here, and it'll come out in shape, as you can see in front of you. Now it's going to be hot, so you have to be careful, but I'm at a point in cooking where my hands don't feel anything anymore, so I'm comfortable doing this. All right. And you could eat this hot or cold. That's another great thing. So if you want to make it ahead of time, you could definitely just serve it cold. And you could have it with fried flatbread as well. It's also really good hot. So if you just wanted to eat it right out the pan like this, there's no problem with that too. You could have it hot and cold. If you are going to use it as a mound, I would recommend that you do it hot. And that's just because it sets up better when it's hot. When it's cold, it starts to fall apart and it becomes really clumpy. So I have it in this, and now I'm going to plate it. And I'll show you the plate. Just turn it upside down. And keep. Yeah, I just turned it upside down. Just keeping my plate clean. All right. If we did this properly, it should come out awesome. All right. That was very intense, I know, but it turns out perfectly. That's the awesome part. And now just some chopped almonds. All right, and there you have it. Traditional Pakistani halva, which, like I said, uses semolina. And we have all of these toppings, so you could use coconuts, pecans, walnuts, pistachio. There's no limit. There's no wrong way of making halva. So I hope you enjoy this.